Welcome everyone to Lillian's Vegan World. We're coming to you live from gorgeous downtown Honolulu, and I'm your host Lillian Cumic. Today is the only day that we're actually not going to talk about veganism and the plant-based diet, because my guest said he's not coming on the show if that's the case. So I have had to go along with Andy's plan, and we're going to talk about something amazing that we experienced over the weekend. So first, allow me to introduce my guest for the show today, Andy Chamberlain, excuse me. Welcome, Andy. Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you, Lillian. I'm super happy to be here, and I can't take credit for the entire content.
Okay. You know, I said this to you a couple of times in the past few days. Had someone had mentioned to you last weekend before we started this seminar that we're going to talk about, that you were going to be sitting or conducting an interview on a show about veganism and the plant-based diet, would you have believed it?
I would not have believed it in a million years, I won't lie.
So it seems life is changing for us already after only a few days. So Andy, first of all, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out to come on and talk about your experience with the Psy Seminar that we happened to attend over the weekend together.
Yes, of course, I'm happy to be here, as I said, and I'm very excited to talk about it and share with you some of my experiences and hear more about what you experience.
Awesome. First of all, Andy, just a little bit about you. You're actually here from Alaska, is that correct? You're from Alaska, but you've just moved to Hawaii recently.
I have, yes. I did have a short intervening spell in Northern California in the Bay Area. So I've bounced around the West Coast a little bit, and now I'm in Hawaii. And I've only been here for about 6 months now. So I'm still very much getting into the flow and getting into the aloha and all that.
I know, I heard that you actually put your hand up and said that you wanted to come here. Like, what were you thinking?
I did. What a sacrifice, right? So it was a very spontaneous job opportunity that came up, and it's the longer I've been here, the more I've realized that it was an important part of my journey. And of course, our encounter over the weekend has also been an important part of the journey that would not have taken place had I not moved.
That's right. How things all come together somehow. It's quite amazing. Let's just go straight into what we're going to talk about, which is the Psy Seminar, spelt PSI. Actually, it stands for, I believe, Personal Success Institute. And the Psy program or course is a 3-day, I would call it a 3-day intense course. Would you agree?
Very much so, very much so.
Mm-hmm. So the course is basically, I'm going to read a note that I wrote, and you can actually Google Psy seminars. They're conducted all around the world on the mainland, and in Hawaii, I believe they do have these Psy basic course seminars every 6 to 8 weeks. So the Psy Seminar basically is a personal development seminar that challenges you to explore, question, and discover your life, such that you expand your potential and realize your dreams. Would that sum it up for you, basically how it went down for us on the weekend?
It very much does, and it sounds very broad and very ambitious to frame it that way, but I think every word of that is very true, and a lot about this intense class plants seeds that result in those words continuing to become true.
It certainly did for me as well. In my experience over the weekend, it did plant seeds, and I can see that having gone through the 30-hour, it was about 10 hours a day with, lunch breaks in between. But even during the lunch breaks, we were actually conversing in our small groups. So it was a full-on 10-day seminar for the 3 days, consecutive 3 days. So there was a lot of learning, a lot of discovering, a lot of listening, and for me, a lot of mind-blowing things happened over the weekend. So, Andy, I'm just going to ask you the simple question, because I was thinking last night when we went to our ceremony and the open guest ceremony for the seminar, the Psy Seminar, that we weren't actually asked how we felt about it. How was our experience? So in a nutshell, what was it for you? How did you enjoy the experience?
There are so many layers to that question. It might be hard to get through all of them. The part that stands out for me most is this very hard-hitting realization about how various sort of philosophical, but also just best practices for life, how I had known them before in a these are words way, and now I understand them in how these can impact your life way. And that's something that's implemented in different forms. But for me, just that shocking realization that yes, these apply to me, this is how they apply, and this is how I can use these tools to really work on myself and improve myself.
Yes, I had a similar experience. Throughout the course, Andy, there are a few things that the course does cover. I'm just going to go over a few of them, if you don't mind, for any of the viewers who might be interested in what the course actually entails. So the Psy Seminar does give you the tools on how to improve things like better or build better relationships. This was a big one for me. But, and when I say building relationships, not only the relationships that you have with other people, but also the relationship that you actually have with yourself. So this was a very powerful experience over the weekend. So you do learn about how to build better relationships, create more balance in your life. I think this was a huge one. The other one was gain confidence and increase productivity. How to think outside the box. We're going to go through all these as we continue the conversation, Andy, but I know I see you nodding your head because really some of this stuff was just game-changing that we learned. Okay, they also teach you how to tap into the subconscious through visualization techniques, improve your communication, and set goals and realize your dreams. So basically, these are some of the things, the topics that we covered. Andy, build better relationships. What did you learn as you went through the course over the weekend about relationships?
Well, first of all, Lillian, I think the point that you brought up is the relationship with self is such an important part of our being. And without understanding, developing, improving our relationship with ourselves, each one of us, it can be really difficult to make headway in all those external relationships that mean so much to us. And for me, that point was really driven home all 3 days in different ways.
I couldn't agree more. That's very beautifully said. On that note, Andy, I do want to pull up the first photo that you prepared for us. I want you to just take a look at the, oh, sorry, this is the photo that I prepared on the basic seminar, pardon me. So this is the Psy Seminar. I will just say that it was held at the Blaisdell here in Honolulu, and we did definitely conduct the seminar with the COVID-19 rules and restrictions. We had to wear masks the whole time. We had to keep 6 feet distance the whole time. There was no touching, no hugging, none of the above. So it was conducted in a very professional manner. And on the screen here, it says, welcome to the Psy Basic Seminar. What you can't read, it actually says, part of the price you pay for the knowledge is to discover it yourself. And this was written by the founder, Thomas Dale Wilhite, who actually founded the company. And it also says at the bottom there, you can see in huge capital letters, to think is to create. Thank you, Melissa. So Andy, to think is to create. Isn't that the truth?
It's so true that you don't realize the power in those words until you really go inside yourself and realize how grand each of us is within and what potential we really have to create and to better the world around us. Absolutely. These words, I actually have written this sentence
in a few places just so I can continuously remind myself that we are so much bigger and can do so much more than we actually think we can. So to think is to create amazing words. Now, Andy, I will ask Melissa to pull up the first photo that you prepped for us. Tell us a little bit about this.
So a little background on my family. I'm the oldest of 7 siblings, and the photo shows each of us, and you can see there's some significant age differences there. There are 3 of us that are relatively large in size, so you might surmise we're close in age, and then the others are a little on the smaller side. What I've realized through a lot of experiences that we had over the weekend is that those relationships that I've formed with each of my siblings, and of course my parents, are something that I've tried to recapture in different ways with different people ever since. And so locating that picture, which I hadn't actually looked at for quite a while, was a healing experience for me, but also an inspirational one. That joy that you can see in each of our child eyes is still there in each of us. And all we have to do is rediscover it and allow it to flow out once again.
Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful photo. And what you said is just, it really resonates with me as well. Once after you sent me the photo of your family, I actually opened up my photo album, Andy, and this is what I pulled out of mine. The reason I'm sharing this photo of myself when I was about 6 or 7, I believe, is because I've forgotten how to enjoy myself and just enjoy time by myself. I think back when I was a child and, you know, you would play with your dolls or play with your toys and you didn't really need anyone else to entertain you like we somehow do as adults. We kind of rely on other people to make us happy, to make us content, to make us just have something to do, even in the simplest way. So that photo for me, it was kind of emotional when I found it because I've forgotten how to have fun with myself and really enjoy my own company. So that's something that I definitely want to work on, is building a relationship with myself. Yeah, we are going to take a little break, Andy, as we listen to some messages before we go into the second half. But just tell me something that you would say to your siblings if they were going to watch this.
I think I'd start by saying I love you as much as I ever did, and I encourage you to pursue your own happiness in the fullest way that you can imagine.
That's beautiful. On that note, we are going to take a short break and we'll be back after these messages. Do stay tuned.
Aloha, I'm Christine Linders, a physical therapy specialist and the host of Movement Matters. My show is designed to teach you the simplest and most effective treatment strategies to get you out of pain and back to doing what you love. If you or someone you know is having pain in a certain area of the body and would like a free assessment in treatment over media or in person, and then come on the show to talk about it, email us at thinktechmovementmatters@gmail.com. Or if you have a topic you would like to know more about, please email us. My goal is to decrease pain all over the world, inspiring people to take better care of their bodies to enjoy life to the fullest. I look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back, everyone. Aloha, and we're on Lillian's Vegan World, where we are talking about the amazing Psy Basic Seminar, the course that gives you the tools to improve your life in so many ways. And I was so inspired. I am dedicating this particular show to the seminar. I do have as my guest the awesome Andy Chamberlain with me today. Welcome, Andy. Welcome back.
Thank you, Lillian.
I actually didn't mention that you and I were in the same group over the weekend, over the course of the weekend, and we had never met before. So it was just that the group seminar that actually, helped our paths cross. So I'm grateful that I met you.
I am as well. And as we've said a couple of times, everything happens for a reason, right? And so
yes,
this is going to be one of those many opportunities that we have to connect with others in ways that we could have never foreseen.
Absolutely. This is my way of saying, look, I'm changing something, I'm doing something different. Although my show is based on the plant-based diet, and vegan lifestyle, I do actually talk about overall well-being and health. And I think something like this, mental health and emotional, physical, spiritual health is as equally as important as food or the diet that you choose. So, Andy, I do want to continue talking on about relationships just for a moment, because you have sent in another photo for us to share. I'm going to ask Melissa to pull it up now. It's of two little angels and you, and what looks like a beautiful sail or something on a boat. Tell us about this picture.
So yes, those are two of my favorite people in the whole world. They are my two daughters.
They kind of look like you.
One of my favorite things about this picture is there's a similar type of childish joy in each of our eyes, both me as the parent in this case and in theirs. And it's part of a theme where I realized in recent years, I'm now at the age that when my dad was this age, I remember what he was like. And that realization impacted me a lot, because I realized that my daughters are going to remember what they see me as right now.
Absolutely. That picture is beautiful, and I can tell that there's so much love there in your family. So during the course of the seminar, the Psy Seminar, I think I heard so many people say the same thing, that they wish they had have done this seminar earlier or had have known about it. And did you notice, Andy, that there were actually a lot of volunteer staff who had gone through the seminar and who were there actually with their children?
That was so inspirational. And it's easy to imagine when we are teenagers and young adults, that relationship with our parents can start to wane very easily. But you look at these people and their relationship with their children, and it's closer and stronger than ever. It's very exciting to see.
It is. And I hope that perhaps something you learned in the seminar, you can, utilize with your relationship with your children, and make sure that they understand about goal setting, because the goal setting for me was another huge breakthrough in my life. Just understanding that when we do set goals for each other, or for ourselves, pardon me, we do set up this motivation system that goes off in our minds and in our whole being, that makes us want to achieve those goals. So setting goals, definitely. I mean, I never learned any of this stuff at school. And I really wish that there would be something like this for kids to start learning about at a really young age.
I had very much the same feeling as well. And I'm very, it makes me happy to know that they have a similar class that's tailored for kids. And that's something that I'm sure has a huge value in those folks that are able to take that as well.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Something that definitely anyone with children might want to look into. So it is Psy Seminars, PSI Seminars. You can find them online. The other thing that we talked a lot about, Andy, over the course of the seminar was how to create more balance in your life. And they did talk about the four four parts of our life that make up the peace of mind and, can provide a lot of happiness in our lives. So the parts that they talked about were the spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental parts of your life. Out of the spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental, which one personally did you feel that you need to work on more in regards to your life?
I felt that there was a equal shortcoming in both the spiritual and emotional sides for me. And the way that I've succeeded in living life has emphasized the mental and the physical without really delving into how important those other aspects of each of our lives are for us. And going through this experience and having that realization is definitely equipping me to come into a better balance and also enjoy all aspects of my life a lot more.
Yes, it just makes so much sense, doesn't it? Because I think a lot of us, I'm going to rephrase that. I think we were told to stop talking about other people or trying to, include other people into what you're saying. Speak more with using the pronoun I. And actually, one of my favorite novelists or authors, Napoleon Hill, actually says the same thing. He always talks in the pronoun I. So that is something that I also discovered, was that I tend to focus too much on one aspect of my life, and then the other three, or however many there are, tend to lag behind. So that's something that I find I have a lot of improvement to do. But now that it's been pointed out that there are so many aspects of your life that need balancing, it kind of makes, so much sense to me suddenly. It's like, wow, why didn't I know that like 20 years ago? But it's never too late. I'm grateful that I've discovered these tools, and they're in, I have them now, and I have a chance to work on all of these aspects. So yeah, it was just a fantastic time. Let's pull up another photo. Andy, this is a photo of me in my kitchen with a lot of food all over the counter. I am actually, I have just this year finished writing my first cookbook, which is about to be published in the next few months. And this photo was taken on the day of the photo shoot for my actual book. So anyway, the reason why I wanted to share this photo with everyone is because I do have a passion. And I think when you do find that passion, you know what it is, there is no way you are not going to want to share it with the rest of the world. It is so built within you, and you know that you have to get it out when you have so much to give. So what I want to ask you next, Andy, is to tell us, please, about the win-win phrase that we learned about.
So, first of all, congratulations on the cookbook, because that's a very exciting thing, and I'm so happy that you've taken that step.
Thank you.
The concept of win-win is realizing that what is a win for you, Lillian, what is a win for me, can be one and the same. That is to say, any situation that we go into doesn't have to be just I or just you or just any one group maximizing what they get out of that situation. If we can imagine what everyone involved, how to maximize their benefit and how to maximize their happiness, then we come to this win-win concept where everyone is looking out for everyone else's benefit, and the whole group can rise to a new level that they wouldn't have been able to if they were just looking out for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this really, this win-win that we talked about a lot is exactly as you described it. Actually, it's good for you, it's good for everyone around you, and you leave something behind after your journey on this planet is gone. I think that's really, really starting to resonate with me, and it's just built more of a fire in me personally to really go for it, go for what I want to do. And for me, the win-win is teaching people about how to take care of their health, take care of what they think about what they eat, You know, Andy, I promote the vegan lifestyle. That's what I do on this show as well. And for me, at the end of the day, no one gave anyone permission to do what they do to animals to satisfy their palate. So I know that what I'm doing is, you know, somehow maybe going to get more forks on the plate and not knives by teaching people that there are other things you can eat and no one will suffer for them. So it's, yeah, it makes you drive, doesn't it? That phrase win-win. It's just, it's a very powerful word.
Very much so, and it's so applicable in so many different environments today, whether it's, of course, your passion with the vegan field, whether it's something like politics. There's such a need for that win-win approach to life, and I just hope that more people can be exposed to it and implement it in their own lives.
Mm-hmm. Andy, I'm going to ask you this question, and I'm really going to put you on the spot here because we learned that we have to get out of our comfort zone, and to feel uncomfortable. To feel uncomfortable is okay. What I'm going to ask you is, what do you commit to doing from now that is different to what you felt before we started the seminar?
Something that I'm really committed to is putting myself out there with other people. This is actually an example of me doing that. And that's been a serious shortcoming throughout my life. And even though I personally have this need to feel included, I manage to keep myself from being included. So I think from this point forward, that's one of my biggest commitments, is just put myself out there, do my best with other folks, see what happens.
Very, very nicely said. It is honestly, it was such an inspiring weekend, and I urge anyone who watches this show to go online and check it out. But I think, Andy, you would agree that unless you actually do the course, the basic course, you really won't have an idea of what we're talking about. They just cover too much, and there are things that we unfortunately can't reveal or talk about, some of the exercises in particular that we do in the course. But it's just one of those things, like if anyone watching is feeling like they need something different in their lives, or they need some motivation to do something or to move on, this I think is an amazing tool to help you move on. So check out the PSI seminar. Andy, before we leave, I'm going to let you say something to any of the viewers who are watching today, and then we'll close the show.
Thank you, Lillian. First of all, I couldn't agree more. It is great to know everything, but until you can put it together in the way that this seminar really does, it doesn't become your truth. So again, I encourage the viewers to look into it, take it seriously. Maybe you're skeptical, I was, but there's going to be some benefit in it for you. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Andy, for joining the show. It's been a pleasure having you on, and equally a pleasure getting to know you. Mahalo. To everyone else, we look forward to seeing you on Lillian's Vegan World again. Stay safe, stay happy, and take care of yourself. Learn to love yourself. Until next time, aloha.